I don't call myself Masih just because I anoint myself so many times a day.
This is your guy.
You know what I mean?
He's representing Muhammad right now.
Masih.
This is Muhammad at his best.
Look, he can throw all
This is Muhammad at his worst. Where in the Quran does it say that the word Massa means healer? And where in the Quran does the word Massa mean him who is cleansed?
I ask any Jew here, please come to me and tell me what they think who Isaiah 9:6 is. Isaiah 9:6 is the biggest fraud Christians can ever play.
So now let me ask you Muslims a question. Oh, I will. I'll let you. The Quran, this book, calls Jesus the Messiah 11 times, but it never explains why. Not once. Why does the Quran call Jesus the Messiah? Go on. Go on.
Why do you think he's a Messiah? Why do you think he's a Messiah?
So I asked the question. Why does the Quran call Jesus the Messiah? And rather than try to answer the question, the Muslims said it's a dumb question. So in other words, the title that the Quran gives to Jesus is stupid. I agree. The Quran claims a term that it doesn't understand. Tell me, the Messiah. What is a Messiah? The anointed one.
Because kings were anointed with oil.
And you're waiting for a holy king.
When the Redeemer comes, he will eventually become the king. And part of his inauguration will be anointed oil.
There you go. The Messiah is a king who is a redeemer. We Christians believe that Christ is king and redeemer. Tell me, why does the Quran call Jesus a Messiah?
To do what?
He will come back.
Save us from evil.
He will come back, he says. Is that what makes someone a Messiah? They will come back? No! No! A Messiah is not a Messiah because he will come back. I go back to my house every day, but no one calls me a Messiah. But my mother does call me a naughty boy. That's a Monty Python reference for those of you that don't know. Let's not. So I'll ask you again, because you said you will answer. Oh, he doesn't want to reply now.
Why?
He doesn't want to reply. For 3 weeks, I've asked Muslims this question, and they haven't been able to give an answer. Why does the Quran call Jesus the Messiah? Why?
He knows.
I'm not going to answer.
Oh, he's not going to answer. It's called running away. Abbas, come here. Abbas. Well done, Abbas. We're going to have a debate with Abbas. Tell us, Abbas.
Why are you laughing?
Abbas.
I don't want to debate. I'm going to answer his question.
Okay, great.
Why Jesus is called Messiah?
Let's listen to the answer.
Messiah, it has 2 meanings. One is the one who has a power of healing. And Jesus was given a power of healing. Whoever he touched, he healed. Another meaning in Arabic, Masa means the cleansed one, the one who's cleansed. He was cleansed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he was without sin. Quran says he was without sin. So that's why he called Messiah, because he was the cleansed one. Allah cleansed him from all sins, and as mentioned in the Quran, he's in the Quran. I'm debating him or you?
Oh, you are debating now. You are debating now.
Looks like your people. Looks like your minions.
No, it's all right. He's got it. He's in the debate now.
Looks like your minions don't have faith on you. I answer your question. This is the reason Jesus was called Messiah. There are 2 reasons. He was cleansed from sins, and he touched anything and he healed.
Allow me to reply.
You answer now.
Allow me to reply.
Okay, I'll let you reply.
So, ladies and gentlemen, now please note, I didn't heckle or interrupt Abbas. Let's see if Abbas can pay me the same courtesy. But what Abbas did just there is what we Christians in the park call the Islamic shuffle. The Islamic shuffle is when you take an Arabic word that sounds like a word in another language and you say they are the same thing. Messiah means anointed one. That's what Messiah means. But you didn't hear those words trip from Abbas's mouth because he said the Arabic word. The Arabic word means someone who is cleansed, someone who can heal. But unfortunately for Abbas, I don't think that definition is given anywhere in the Quran. It says that Jesus is called the Messiah, but the Quran, which is supposedly clear guidance, doesn't explain why. But as we heard from our Jewish cousins, Messiah means anointed one.
Right.
And the Messiah is a redeemer and a king. That was what was prophesied to Judah. That was what was prophesied to David. That is the fulfillment in Jesus Christ. The Muslims are using a term that they don't understand. And why?
Why?
Because Muhammad used a term that he didn't understand. Because Muhammad was not listening to God, but his own deceived heart. Now I'll ask Abbas this question. He has given an answer. We have heard his answer. Cleansed and healer. Show me in the Quran where it says that this is what Messiah means.
You ask you for something, like if I ask you, where does it says in the Bible that Jesus says, I am God? You will never be able to show me that he says, I am God. You will bring me... Bob, I don't think they have faith on you. Can you tell your minions to shut up? Okay. You are his minions. You are his disciples. You are his disciples. Okay.
Whose disciples are you? Stop lying, Abbas.
My Jew brother here, do you accept the Messiah definition of Messiah as the Christians are saying? The
Redeemer and a king.
The Redeemer and the King.
Yes.
And the divine as well. They believe in divine. So to you, what is Messiah? Is it a prophet?
What's the definition of the word?
No.
Messiah.
The
Messiah. What is the
was gonna
Messiah?
come.
That is the question at hand.
Will he be a prophet of God or will he be a divine God?
Right now, Abbas is in trouble,
That's what you
and he knows it.
That is what your understanding of Messiah is. So what you when you say anointed of what? When
Who are you
say
debating? Them or me?
Because you were asking him as well. So it's only fair if I ask him the meaning of the anointed. What do you mean by anointed? Anointed of what?
Anointed means to have oil placed on
Still
you.
asking the same question.
Anointed of what?
Anointed means to have oil placed on
Same
you.
question.
Brother, 1 second.
Yeah, you come here.
Anointed, the word means having oil placed on you.
Bob,
As part of it,
No, why?
asking the
Why
same
that happened?
question.
because that's
What is the reason behind it?
Abbas. So Abbas has run away from the discussion. Abbas was asked a question, and the question was, what does the Quran say is the reason to call Jesus the Messiah? And because the Quran is silent about this question, Abbas has run away from the question. So let's give Abbas another chance. Answer the question, Abbas, or I will just talk myself.
I was talking to him because I found his understanding and meaning of Messiah is more honest than yours. Because you are a Trinitarian and you are Islamophobe as well. So I wanted to know from him.
Well done.
But to you,
Well done.
what is in the Quran? I can show you the verses.
Show me.
No. That Jesus.
No.
Show you what? What do you want
was
to see?
sinless.
What do you want to see?
Islam believed that Jesus healed whoever he touched, he healed. And Jesus was sinless because his grandmother prayed for Mary and her descendants
That's
to
right.
be free from
That's
Satan's
right.
sin. So
That's
her
right.
prayer was answered, and according to Hadith, Jesus and his mother was sinless. So there's the meaning and understanding is
Well
there
done.
that Jesus was sinless. And as I said, Arabic word Messiah, Masa, if you go to Arabic lexicons, you will see it means cleanse. So you need to understand the meaning from the word. Arabic word Messiah comes from Masa, which can also mean cleanse. So Jesus was cleansed from sins, and Jesus was
Before he came to this
whoever he
world,
touched,
before he came to this world,
he
was
healed.
cleansed.
So this is why he was called Messiah, and this is the Islamic understanding I gave you. Now whatever you want to play, whatever show you
Are you
running
done,
around
Abbas?
here.
Are you done?
I mean, yeah. No, you play a word game here. You know, you just use words.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well done. That's true.
Abbas, are you done?
Low
That's
shot.
true.
Yeah. So that's
Okay.
what meaning.
So allow me to reply to Abbas. Because I asked Abbas to show me in the Quran where it says that Jesus is called the Messiah because he can heal and because he is sinless. But please note the Islamic shuffle. He's used the Arabic word Massa, and then Muslims falsely translate this as Messiah. That is not the same word. Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, what the English word is for cleansed? It's cleansed. Do you know what the English word is for healer? It's healer. It's not Messiah. Messiah means anointed.
Don't get close, mate.
What do you mean don't get close? I'm talking into the microphone.
Notice, the Muslims are behaving like they're false prophets.
Raise your voice.
The deen has failed them.
Raise your voice.
They follow
I'm
a
gonna talk
rubbish
over you.
prophet,
I'm gonna talk
and
over
so they have rubbish character. They follow a disgraceful prophet, and so they behave disgracefully.
What?
telling you to pipe
What?
down.
Who's my teacher? You don't know nothing. Why are you talking? Why are you talking?
Notice, they are triggered, but they don't have any answer.
You can't talk. You can't talk.
They have no answer.
Who's got
None.
the answer? You're scared
No
of the
answer.
Look, he's scared of the answer. He knows.
I was talking to Abbas.
I gave you the answer.
This is your fifth job.
Massa
I'm not giving you
doesn't
another
translate
chance after
into
this.
English as Messiah.
Look, he's not
It's a
even
lie.
talking to me.
It's a lie. Massa
Masa has
is
a meaning rub.
doesn't
and to
mean
cleanse.
Messiah.
He wants
What
to
does
shout,
Messiah
I
mean in
can
English?
The Messiah, Allah called
What
him.
does Messiah mean in English?
You say anointed.
What does Messiah mean in
You
English?
say anointed.
Anointed.
It does mean
Massa
anointed.
doesn't mean anointed.
Allah gave him
By
a
your
name.
own words.
Allah
I
So
anoint
Muslims
myself.
are
Every
lying in the way they
Muslim-
translate the
every Muslim
Quran.
anoints himself 5
Muslims
times a day.
are lying in the
Every
way they
single
translate
Muslim-
their Quran.
Every
Oh,
single
Allah gave him
Muslim
that
that
name
believe
because of his
in
quality.
Isa
Which is
alayhi
not
salam,
translated
in the
as
prophet,
Messiah.
Moses, Isa,
How do you
Messiah,
translate healer into
yeah,
English?
He anoints himself 5 times a day and he
Yes.
prays to God and he
Massa
prays to
translated
Jesus,
into
and he
English
prays to Muhammad,
means healer.
and he
You know,
prays
Arabic
to all
words
the
are very rich
prophets,
words.
yeah,
Arabic language
many
is a very
times
rich
a day.
language.
Every
So
time
when
we
their words
anoint
have different
ourselves.
meanings, they have many
Well, I don't
different
call
meanings.
myself Masih just because I anoint
See,
myself so many
This
times
is
a
your
day.
this is your
You know
guy.
what I mean?
He's
Masih-
representing Muhammad right
Masih-
now.
He's very
Masih-
emotional. He's
This is
emotional.
Why are you
Muhammad
talking?
at his best.
Look, he can throw
This
all the
is Muhammad
accusations.
at
You
his
can throw
worst.
all the accusations you want. None of that is
This
gonna
is a
be-
good Muslim
You
being
wanna
a good
talk all you
Muslim.
want. I
This
don't
is
care what you
someone
say.
who
I
is
don't
being
care what you
better than
say.
his prophet.
I don't care what you say.
You're being
Bob,
better than
I
Muhammad.
don't
You're
care
better
what
than
you
Jesus.
say.
You know that. You're better than
I
Jesus.
don't care.
How do you translate?
Oh,
No,
it
no, no.
doesn't matter. He's
The
not.
question.
Do you call people dogs?
The question.
Jesus called
He's
people
not.
dogs. Do you call people dogs?
Yes, I do.
is.
He's
He
a
does.
dog.
He does. He does.
He's a dog.
He does.
All Gentiles.
Jesus
I'd
called
rather be a
people
dog.
dogs.
I'd rather
This
be a
is a
dog.
barking dog. We've got a poodle right here.
To you, all Gentiles are dogs.
Right. Don't change the subject of that. Don't change the subject. Don't change the subject. Don't change the
Don't say
subject.
I'm better than
You
Muhammad.
can't even have a
Massa.
person on the level.
Massa, by your
The
words.
level on the level conversation.
When about Abbas?
Jesus kissed the hand
Abbas.
of Muhammad.
Abbas,
Jesus
you're
will be honored.
running. You're running.
Muhammad is the most
You're running, Abbas.
Don't say I'm better than
You're
Muhammad.
running. You are better than
I'm not
Muhammad.
even his dust of
He's
his feet.
behaving
I'm not
like
even
Muhammad.
as good as
You're
Muhammad.
behaving like a
Neither
good
am I.
human
Who are
being.
you to talk? Who are you to
Don't
talk?
compare us to
I'm
that.
talking.
Mom, I don't care you're
I gave you
talking.
the
I already
You don't care that he's talking
I don't care
either.
that you're talking.
Or him.
Listen.
Or him.
This is your
Is
last
this
chance.
Muslim Brotherhood?
This is your last
Is
chance.
this Muslim
Look,
Brotherhood?
I've been patient.
Shia?
I've been very
Sunni?
patient with you.
Muslim
Be
Brotherhood.
very patient. Let them like
Muslim
it.
Brotherhood.
I want them to like
The
it.
Sunnis
I
call
want
the
them to
Shia
like
Iraq.
it.
Yeah,
And the
I
Shia
want
shout
you
over the
to
Sunnis
listen.
in
I
Hyde
want
Park.
you to listen.
I'm not a
If
Sunni.
you ask a question
not a Shia. I'm
a
and you're not willing to
Sunni
give your
Muslim.
answer,
Muslim.
then you should
So you
listen.
accept the
You
Imams.
should listen to the answer.
So you accept the
I
Imams.
never say Shia and Sunni.
Listen.
So you accept the
I'm a
Imams.
Muslim.
You accept the Imams.
He's a Muslim.
Yeah, of course Imams. Of course, yeah.
Oh, so you accept the Imams and
done.
Abu Bakr.
Imam
done.
Jafar, Abu Bakr, Umar, I accept all of them.
Interesting
So I'm a
mix.
Muslim. Because
Interesting
Quran-
mix. Fair enough.
Quran never
Fair
says you are
enough.
Shia or Sunni.
If you
Quran
accept them
always
both,
says
that's
you're a
fine.
Muslim.
But now let's come back to the
I
debate.
accept all of them.
Now let's come back to the
I'm not
debate.
debating with you. I answer your
Let's just step away from this guy. Abbas, come here. You said, right, without any prompting from me, you said, right, you said, I asked you what Messiah meant, and you translated, without anything from me, you translated it as one who is healer and one who is stainless, sinless. That's how you translated it. So Massa, if it was going to be translated into English accurately, would be translated as healer or sinless. But the Muslims translate it as, one second, Muslims translate it as Messiah. But Messiah in English means anointed one. So Muslims have mistranslated the Arabic to curry favor with Christians.
It doesn't say anointed. No. Muslim never translate as anointed. Like for example,
That's
Allah.
what Messiah means in
For
English.
example, I tell you. For example, Allah.
No, it doesn't.
Allah in Arabic.
Stop bringing people into this. This is between me and
Allah
Abbas.
in Arabic means the God. But we never translate Allah as the God. We always write Allah as Allah. So same way, Messiah, since he was given title by God, so in respect, Muslims did not translate as anointed or cleansed. So we leave that title as Allah has given him title. So we leave it as Messiah. But what I'm telling you, if you go to Arabic lexicon, Messiah comes from three words.
Massa, not Messiah, Massa.
No, the Messiah, the word.
Arabic, Messiah, that's a Hebrew word, not an Arabic word. Are we going to an Arabic lexicon or a Hebrew one?
The Hebrew, Arabic, Aramaic, they are
He's
one thing.
Hebrew,
I'm talking-
he knows Hebrew,
I'm
he
talking.
says it's anointed. We say it's anointed.
Do you know-
You're using an Arabic word called Massa,
How you say,
which is
how
not
you say-
Messiah.
How you say prophet in Hebrew? Prophet. Novi. But not Nabiyim. You don't call Nabiyim.
Nabiyim is
No.
plural.
Okay. So in
plural.
okay, you said Nabi. We Arabic say Nabi. You say
It's not the same
How you
word.
say book? You say Kutub, Kitab.
Kitab is writing. This book
Yeah,
is
yeah.
safe.
How you say
It's
writing?
just
a book?
said book is safer.
Well,
He's just said it.
I have read Hebrew. You say Kutub. Kutubim.
No, you read a Muslim book
No.
misusing Hebrew
What is-
words. That's what you read.
No, brother, be honest. What is Kutubim?
Wait, Abbas,
Kutubim?
debate me,
You
Abbas.
see, look what he's doing. Kutubim is books.
Right.
So the same way
But
in
what does
Arabic.
Messiah mean? Anointed one,
You're
correct?
talking over me. I'm trying to get into
Yes, he does.
I'm getting to a point here.
Okay, hurry up then.
There are many words in Arabic, Hebrew, and Aramaic. They are very similar words. So Messiah in Hebrew, in Arabic is the same word. They are sister languages. So I told you what it means in Arabic. In Arabic, it does come from three words: Masa, Mim, Sa, Ain, Masa, which means cleanse, which also doesn't say healer, you say anointed.
Oh, so it's not cleansed. It's changed
No,
now.
I say
It's not cleansed.
No, I say
It's not cleansed.
I say cleansed.
Oh, it does mean
No,
cleansed
I
now.
didn't say cleanse, but I didn't say healer. I didn't say meaning.
You said
is
he's
healer.
called the Messiah because he heals. That's what you said.
No, I said two meanings.
Yes, so
reasons.
two
One,
meanings
because he
to this
heals.
one word.
One means he heals.
Yeah.
The other one because he was cleansed from all the sins.
Abbas, can I reply to this?
Yeah.
Because I've
No,
heard
no,
this
no,
point now.
no.
Go on, finish your point. Land, bro, land.
So what I'm saying is we see the character of Jesus in the Quran. He touched people, he healed people, and he was also sinless. So that was the reason Allah has given this title Messiah. So this is the answer. You like it or not like
So
it?
let me
this is why
reply.
it was called.
Abbas literally just played games.
Okay, prove me
He
wrong.
firstly, he searched for words that our Jewish cousin didn't want to give him and gave him different words. But let's just assume that his analogy is correct.
Okay.
That there's an Arabic word that sounds very similar to the Hebrew word, and they both mean the same thing. Okay, we give him that. That's true in some cases. Sorry, sir, please. Hold on a second. He gave the definition of Massa from an Arabic lexicon, which meant someone who was a healer and someone who was sinless. Well, there's a way to translate healer and sinless into English. It's the words healer and the word sinless. You don't translate the words healer and sinless into English by using the English word Messiah, because we have taken that word from the Hebrew. Like the mongrel language English is, we just suck in everyone else's words. It's kind of what it means to be English. So, all languages do that. But Messiah means anointed one. And Massa, by Abbas's own definition, does not mean anointed one. And so, it is not the case that this word is being accurately translated. The Muslims are abusing the word. Why? Because they are trying to curry favor with Christians. They are deceiving Muslims, and they are deceiving Christians by calling Jesus the Messiah. The Messiah means anointed one. Massa does not mean anointed one, by his own words, using an Arabic lexicon. Now, it goes a bit deeper than that. Goes a bit deeper. Why does Muhammad do this? Because Muhammad was using Arabic words to curry favor amongst Arab Christians. And he did it wrongly. He did it wrongly. Because he doesn't understand what the Messiah is. The Messiah is a king and a redeemer. And I would take up the Jews about him being a divine figure. I would do that. Maybe me and you can have a separate conversation. But, one second. But, what me and the Jews agree upon is that the Messiah is a king and a redeemer. What me and the Jews and the Muslims don't agree upon was that Jesus was a king and a redeemer. Because as a Christian, I believe that Jesus was a king and a redeemer. But the Jews today don't believe that, except for those who are Christians. And the Muslims don't believe that Jesus was a king or a redeemer. So no matter how we use the word Messiah, whether we mean anointed one, whether we mean king, whether we mean redeemer, you can't use the word about Jesus like that from the Qur'an. I'll ask Abbas again. Show me in the Qur'an where it explains the term Messiah. That's what I want to hear from the Qur'an. Why is he called Massa?
Okay, you see what you're asking me, but you're not doing to yourself. You're not showing me from the Bible. It's saying the Messiah means the king. Messiah means the Redeemer. It doesn't. Messiah is the title, but that title, the one who was given this title, what was his qualities? According to you, he was a Redeemer, he was a king. So what we're saying is, when Messiah the title was given, what was his qualities? He was cleansed from sins, and whoever he touched, he healed. And when we go to even the root word Massa in Arabic, which means the cleansed one. Cleansed of what? Now you keep saying anointed. Tell me what anointed means. Why he was anointed? What anointed signifies? What it means? Does it mean that he was cleansed from his past life to the new life? Now he is a dedicated servant to God, and he is not going to make any mistake, and he is going to be a sinless, and who everybody going to follow him. What anointed means?
A monarch is anointed.
Brother, please.
Yeah, why monarch is anointed?
We've wanted to have this debate. Let him talk.
Somebody who's anointed by God, according to Islam, Messiah, he was Messiah because he was anointed by God. So when he was anointed by God, whatever he touched, he heals. And he has no sin in him. That is the answer, and that's the understanding we have. And when we look what's the characteristic of Messiah in the Quran, that's the answer you're going to get. He was a sinless, and he healed everybody. And you keep saying why he's not translated as cleansed in English. Because that was the title. We do not translate the titles. Like Allah is the title, we don't translate his title. So Messiah, we do not translate. But if you go to the Arabic, that's the meaning you will find. You are scraping into it. You want to find out the answer. You got the answer, but you're looking more than that. It doesn't have more than that. You're forcing your viewpoint into Islam.
Okay.
This is what Islamic point of view is.
So let me just address this. So the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, when you read through the Old Testament, and this is one of the proofs that I would offer to Abbas and to every Muslim who watches this video, as why the Old Testament is a safe text, not a corrupted text, is because there is a theme that travels through all the books of the Old Testament talking about a coming figure. And this theme occurs again and again and again. And if it was corrupted, as the Muslims claim that it was, they would have to demonstrate that a single authority with a single agenda at one time in history had complete control over every copy of every text of the Old Testament that we have. And he can't do that. But what are the prophecies of the Old Testament? Abbas, I didn't interrupt you. I will start to interrupt you if you interrupt me. You know how this works. So, when we look at the Old Testament, let me just give you a purview, a brief run over some of these prophecies. Uncle Asif, please. We've wanted this debate. Let Abbas. So, in Genesis, we have the proto-evangelion, a promise given to Mary that by the seed of Mary, one would come who would stamp on the serpent, and the serpent would bite his heel. That from the seed of a woman, not a man, a woman, that seed would crush the curse given by the serpent, which was the spiritual death you see in Genesis. Then we have the promise that through Abraham a covenant would be established, and through his son Isaac a nation would be established, and through their descendant Judas a king would be established, who would be the king of Israel and the king of the world. We see this prophecy reaffirmed at the time of David. We see after the fall of the David kingdom prophecies in Isaiah like this one, speaking of the coming Messiah, and it says this.
Are we talking or are we preaching here?
1 second, Abbas, I did not interrupt you. If you want to start doing it timed, we can. Abbas, I'm going to start interrupting you now. I'm going to start interrupting you. I am not, I'm going to... Abbas, I'm going to interrupt you going forward. Sadly, this happens every time I debate Abbas. Every time I debate Abbas, he gets triggered, and then he starts to interrupt, and then I have to give him a 5-minute lecture about manners before I can finish my point. Abbas, let me finish my point, Abbas. So, ladies and gentlemen, listen. Abbas is running away because he doesn't want me to get the prophecy. Here's the prophecy. The people who walk in darkness will see a great light. Those who live in a dark land, the light will shine on them. You shall multiply the nation, you shall increase their gladness. They will be glad in your presence, as with the gladness of harvest, as men rejoice when they divide the spoil. For you shall break the yoke of their burden, and the staff on their shoulders, the rod of their oppressor, as at the battle of Midian. For every boot of the booted warrior in battle tumult, the cloak rolled in blood will be the burning fuel for the fire. For a child will be born to us, a son will be given to us, and the government will rest on his shoulders, and his name will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Eternal Father, Prince of Peace. These are the titles of Jesus, and he is called Mighty God. The Messiah is divine. Now Abbas will talk about the Eternal Father. I'll get to that when he does. But here is a prophecy about the Messiah being a king. The Quranic Jesus was not a king. And here is a prophecy about the Messiah being God. The Messiah of the Quran is not God. And he has still not answered my question. So I'll ask for the 4th time now. Where in the Quran does it say that the word Massa means healer? And where in the Quran does the word Massa mean him who is cleansed? Show me.
Well, anyway, this is preaching here again. First he lied. He says God promised Abraham and Isaac and their descendants the land. This is a lie. In the Bible, God says to Abraham, I have given this land to your descendants. Not Isaac, Abraham's descendants. Is Ishmael is not a descendant of Abraham? Of course he is. Is Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is not from the Ishmael? Yes, he is. And what was the land given to Abraham and his descendants? The land from the river of Egypt, Nile, to Euphrates. That was the promise given to Abraham. And now you see between Euphrates and Nile, what comes in between that? Arabia, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Iraq, it's all in that land. Who are ruling? So, 1 second. Why you guys are talking? Why are you talking over me? Why are you talking over
Oh wait, when he was talking over me, it was fine.
No, I'm talking
But now someone's talking over him, he's upset about it.
Because me.
Do you see the hypocrisy that Abbas demonstrates week in, week out?
Because you and me talking. They didn't.
Oh no, now you want people not to interrupt.
No.
But you interrupted me, Abbas.
I'm asking you.
But you interrupted me,
I'm not
Abbas.
complaining to you. I'm saying
You can't
why?
lecture
No,
anyone.
I'm not complaining to you. I'm saying why they are interrupting. So he lied. Secondly, he quoted Isaiah 9:6. What a lie! I ask any Jew here, please come to me and tell me what they think who Isaiah 9:6 is. Isaiah 9:6 is the biggest fraud Christians can ever play. Because if you read Isaiah 9:6, that is talking about the person in the past, not in the future. He's talking about the child is given. It's the past. It is not. It's not future. If you don't believe me, go and ask.
Wonderful.
What is your problem, guys? You don't have faith in him? He can't answer me. He can't answer me. Isaiah 9:6, please, for God's sake, go and read Isaiah 9:6 yourself. Every term.
Abbas, are you finished?
No, I'm not finished yet. Look, they're talking over me. I'm not finished
Well,
yet.
you interrupted me,
I'm
Abbas.
not finished yet.
Why are you complaining?
I'm not finished yet.
Why are you complaining?
I'm not finished yet.
Why are you complaining?
I'm not finished yet.
You people are
Let me
treating you
talk.
like you treat me. What's up with that? You're happy with that,
I'm not
right?
finished yet. Isaiah 9:6 is the biggest lie Christians ever played. He's talking about the man in the past. And who was in the past? Who's in the past? I'm giving the name. His name is King Hezekiah. He's one of the
Lie.
He's one of the greatest. He's one of the greatest kings Israel ever seen. And because of him, nearly 100,000 enemies, the pagan, came to attack, and he prayed to God.
Abbas,
God,
Abbas, you're just preaching
I
now.
haven't finished yet.
No, I'm sorry, Abbas. You've gone off topic.
This is
The
what
topic is why. Abbas, why is it every time that we have a debate,
finished yet.
it
I'll let you
descends
finish.
into a shouting
I'll
match?
let you finish.
No, you interrupted me,
I'll let you
Abbas.
finish.
You
I'll
interrupted
let you
me,
finish.
Abbas.
I'll let you
Make your point.
I'm
Make
making-
your
I'm making
point
a point.
land, because I'm going to come in.
I'm making a point. That guy.
Let him
in the
finish
future,
now, guys. Let him
Hezekiah and Hezekiah. If you see the Hebrew meaning of Hezekiah, you know what the meaning is? The mighty king. That is the meaning of Hezekiah in Hebrew. The mighty king. So that is nothing to do with Jesus. That is a prophecy.
Okay, allow me to finish. Okay, allow me to reply. Abbas, allow me to reply.
Yeah, I'm finishing now.
So Abbas lied, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to this. This is the promise that was given according to Genesis.
Isaiah 9:6 for yourself.
Listen.
That's nothing to do with Jesus.
No, he's interrupting again. What a surprise. What a surprise. This is the promise given in Genesis. This is the promise given in Genesis. And he's running away. What a surprise. Because Abbas said that it was the son Ishmael and Isaac. But listen to what was promised in Genesis. These were the visitations upon Abraham when God promised a son. And listen to what he says. Then they said to him, where is Sarah your wife? Everyone say Sarah. And he said, there in the tent. He said, I will surely return to you at this time next year. And behold, Sarah your wife. Everyone say Sarah. Sarah, your wife, will have a son. And who was the son of Sarah?
Isaac.
The son of Sarah was Isaac. The promise was given to Isaac. Listen what it says in Genesis 21. Then the Lord took note of Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did for Sarah as he had promised. So Sarah conceived and bore a son to Abraham in his old age, at the appointed time of which God had spoken to him. Abraham called the name of his son who was born to him, whom Sarah bore to him, Isaac. So Isaac is the son of the covenant. And if Isaac is the son of the covenant, then that means that the descendants of Ishmael are not the sons of the covenant. Yes, God blessed Ishmael. We don't deny that. Ishmael had 12 princes as sons. So they became a mighty nation, as God had promised. But that's not the same as the son of the covenant. which means that the line of the Messiah goes from Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Judah, David, Jesus Christ. That is the promised Messiah. Abbas ran away because he had run out of bullets. Notice, he never answered the question I asked. What was the question? Where in the Qur'an does it give the definition of the word Massa? Muhammad referred to a lexicon. The lexicon said lexicon said cleansed, and it says healer for Massa. Well, that is not how you translate that into English. The correct translation of the Arabic Massa into English is cleansed healer. I have just improved the translation of the Quran. But the Quran is translated deceptively as Messiah. Why? Because the Muslims are trying to deceive the Christians. The word Messiah in English means exactly the same as it means in Hebrew, because we're using exactly the same word. It means anointed one. And the Jews were referring to anointed king and an anointed redeemer. But we Christians believe slightly more than this. We believe that this anointed redeemer, that this anointed king is also divine. And let me show you why we believe that. A prophecy of the Messiah can be found in Daniel 7 verse 13, 14 up to 15. It reads as follows, and Jesus himself refers to this passage as referring to himself. I kept looking in the night visions, and behold, in the clouds of heaven, one like the Son of Man was coming. And he came up to the Ancient of Days and was presented before him, and to him was given dominion, glory, and a kingdom, that all the peoples, nations, and men of every language might serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion. Everyone say everlasting. Everlasting. How can you have an everlasting dominion unless you are divine? The Messiah is a divine Redeemer and King. And if Jesus is the Messiah, we don't need Muhammad. Cool. So guys, thank you for listening. I'm going to lower my voice, we're going to reorientate ourselves, and then I'm going to move on to another topic.